It's not my fault. I just knocked this sucker down to 720p. I know it's harder to read. I understand that. I wish with this game, um, it was easier to stream this thing at 1080p. I don't know why this game has that problem. But I'm back. I'm back. And now I will catch you up once again. As you know, I'll just say the most amazing things when the stream is off. Believe me, that's when all the best stuff happens. Um, no, well, all I had talked about essentially was this transport. Hey, Bayard, he's back. He's back. All I was talking about was this transport, and I'm sure I said something just devilishly interesting when the stream went down. But it's this transport, and all I've done is we've loaded it up with these Aussies. We've set it on its way out of Karachi. And this kind of goes back to what Arthur and I were talking about earlier, and also Stanley, is we're having it go out around a do and then straight down. And all I was saying is, look, if a Japanese sub gets you out here, you just have to tip your cap and move on. Um, you just you can't you don't have enough ASW in the well, I don't want it to cut that close. Okay. As I'm sitting here talking, I'm glad I'm looking at this. I thought I was taking that a little further south than I am. Let's go to here. How far south here? Let's take it all the way to here, and then it'll just come straight across east. Yeah, Arthur, I hear you, but you know what? Every time I do a speed test out of here, and believe me, if you want to, blame Spectrum Cable out here in California, feel free. I'm up for it. But I don't think so. Every time we do a speed test, it's like 20 megabyte upload, which is plenty. I mean, that's like way above what you need. Although I do think from time to time it has spikes and surges, you know. But I've lowered everything down for that very reason. So I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so we've got that transport on its way. We've got this one. Oh, this is what I wanted to go back to. First of all, let's look at the rest of the ground units here. Strategic move. This one we need to get to Pagoo somehow. We don't really have a way to do that right now. We don't have a transport here. When we get another transport down here, we will do that. The Space Force. Okay, these are all supposed to be here. Now, what are we going to do with this little cargo ship? There's not a whole lot to be done with it. I think what I'm going to do is actually send this back to Aden. Aden's too far away. I think what I'm going to do is send this back up to Abaddon, and then we'll have this come out of Abaddon. Gosh, that's such a far journey though. Hold on. Now, I had an idea, but I think I'm going to change that idea. I think we're actually going to bring this down to Colombo, to the British base at Colombo, and set that as its home port. And then we'll use this ship to run, supply to some of these smaller bases up here. They need, oh, which reminds me, now I may change my mind again. We have got a lot of stuff in Bombay. Like when I say a lot of stuff, quite a bit of fuel, for one thing, is out here at Bombay. We may have it stop there, but I'm going to have it go to Colombo first and see what happens. Um, oh, that's interesting to know, Arthur. Well, it's funny. My dad is like the most technical person in the world. He's been in IT forever. Um, and I am not. That's why I became a lawyer, right? Because I don't really understand how the real world works. Anyway, well, I can make lawyer jokes all day. Don't get me started. Um, okay, so now we've looked at Karachi. Let's go to Aden really quickly. We'll see what's going on at Aden. Now we have a lot of transports here. We don't have a lot to transport here yet. We do have that AA unit down in Karachi, but I don't really want to use these transport ships for a lone AA unit out of Karachi. that's not going to really do us a whole lot of good no matter where it ends up. I mean, I'm glad to have it. Um, oh, that reminds me. Actually, why don't we do this? So this AA unit that's here, is it? I thought it was an AA. No, it's the third Hussars. I'm sorry. Strategic move. Let's set that to. We will eventually want it to go to Pagoo. Let's rail it all the way to Calcutta. All right, and then we'll take it from Calcutta down to Rangoon, Pagoo, down that way. So Aden, we've got transport ships and nothing to transport. Other places we have things to transport, but no transport ships. It happens. I mean, you're talking about massive distances here, and so you try to get them lined up. We will be getting a lot of stuff into Aden eventually, so you need to have transport ships there. Um, it's just, at this point, taking that AA unit. Uh, yeah, that's right, Stanley. Uh, but I'm not gonna take these transports, send them all the way to Karachi just to pick up a lone Hussars regiment. It's not worth it. We'll just rail them to Calcutta and get them down some other way into Rangoon. Okay, let's fly around here. Nothing ever going on in Mombasa, it seems, except probably the nightlife. I don't know. I've never been to Mombasa. Cape Town. Here we go. We've got a transport here, and we've got a cargo ship that's just kind of hanging out here. All right. So this is the first cargo ship that's actually arrived, I believe. We've got so many cargo ships that are coming here. If we go over here to this penalty box, um, you see the line of ships coming into Cape Town. So this is the first one of those, I think, that's arrived. Let's just go ahead and disband this task force. I'm going to do that with a lot of these task forces that come in here. I'm just going to disband them into the port and let them sit there until we get enough that we can start building some real task forces and not, one ship here, one ship there. It's too hard to like I say logistics. That's all we do in this game is logistics. But logistically, to send out 50 different one ship task forces doesn't make a lot of sense. We're going to get a lot of like ships here at Cape Town, and then we'll just reconstitute all these. We'll kind of take the cookie dough, and then we'll make make cookies. But first of all, we're just going to get it all in a big mishmash here in the port, and then we'll see what we've got and start sending them back out. Um, Britt Torrent asks if have I ever finished a campaign of this? I have. I have. Um, usually it doesn't take all the way to 45 to win as the allies if you pay attention, really. You just have a tremendous advantage as the allies. So if you're actually conscientious and pay attention, in my experience, if you play a really good human Japanese player, they can make it last out until maybe early 44. But usually against the AI here, we should win this game. And I'm going to play this one out. So you're going to see it. Now, I don't know how old all of us will be. I don't know. I may be playing with a replacement mouse elbow. I don't know. I don't know when this is going to wrap up. But we'll play this one out. I would expect against the AI that will win sometime in 1943. When I say win, we just get so far ahead that point wise, it'd just be impossible for a comeback. And I think in this one we would go all the way. I say we will go all the way into trying to invade the Japanese homeland, just because that'd be great fun, right? Um, yeah. So you're gonna see it, BritTorrent. So yeah, I mean probably like I don't know 8 or 9 times. But if you're playing another human and you're also maybe not being, when I set up this Let's Play, I went through every single thing on the spreadsheet. So that took a lot of extra time. That if I was just playing the I maybe wouldn't have been as conscientious about that. I would have, set up a few things run a turn, set up a few things, run another turn, and things go faster. Also, as I get into the meat of the game, sometimes I'll do what I call half map. I'll do, from kind of Rangoon to the west, or maybe a little more than that, kind of Borneo to the west, and then I'll do the U.S. and all of the stuff out in the Pacific, um, and alternate turns doing that, thinking, well, surely I'm going to catch everything uh, every other day, which is better than the command and control they actually had during the war. If we were being realistic, you probably wouldn't be able to give new orders to these guys, more than once a week. Once you got ships sailing out of port and whatever else, to have them turn around and do whatever would be difficult. Once they're loading up and have their orders, and so. If you want to recreate real command and control problems, you could say, well, I can only give these units an order once a week, and kind of make your own house rules. That will speed the game along quite a bit, quite a bit. Um, yeah, that's right. We'll have a celebration party. Indeed. No more margaritas, though. The sound of margarita right now just kind of makes my stomach churn a little bit. So, we'll maybe do some bourbon, maybe some scotch. Who knows? Um, Oh, back to Cape Town. Nothing else going on here. Nothing else we have to worry about in Cape Town, really. I don't think. I think we're in good shape there. We've looked at Karachi. Let's go down here to Bombay because we do have a lot of stuff in Bombay. We don't have a lot of stuff to transport. Now, Bombay does have a lot of heavy industry and light industry, so you're not really going to want to be transporting too much out of Bombay, but it can be used to support Goa, for instance. Goa needs a little supply here. So if you did have a transport ship, and that's what I was talking about with that smaller transport that we were looking at up in Karachi, maybe I'd send that to Bombay and you can take a little supply down to Goa, Mangalore. These places aren't that important. And, take Mangalore. It's on the rail line. It should be getting supply. Now, Goa is too, but it's the light rail or the uh, not the head. It's not. Why can't I say this correctly? The small rail. I guess that's what we'll call it. So it's not going to get as much down here, but it should get natural supply down here through the rail line. It's not like it's isolated out here. Calicut, do not mistake that for Calcutta. Calicut's down here. It actually has a motorized unit that it looks like we wanted to. Okay, this arrived here, right? I haven't come to look at India much. It came here by strategic move, but we set the future objective as Calicut. And so let's flip that over to combat. That's a 45 combat value. Okay. I mean, I don't know that Calicut's really of any danger of being invaded, but if it is, we've got a motorized unit there. Um, why do we have two base forces in Cochin? I'm almost certain. Yeah, I was going to say is that I'm almost certain one of these should go someplace else. Most places you're never going to have. I say it's not a base force; it's engineers. But usually you're not going to have double base forces or double engineers unless it's a very important location. Like in Darwin, the more engineers we can get into Darwin, the better. It speeds up all of your construction. But at Cochin, that is not an issue. So this one's supposed to go out to North Mail. We don't really have a transport for it. Did we have? I should have looked a little closer. I don't think we have a transport up here. We do have some ships out here at North Mail. What do we have out here? All right, so this is unloading, but what's it unloading? Oh, I see. It's amphibious. Again, it's this. I wish they would do a different ship type. The icon was different for amphibious. I know why they did it this way, but if there's one thing in this game, um, if there's one thing in this game that frustrates me, well, there's maybe a few things, but if there's one thing that really frustrates me is this icon, and that's just my own stupidity. I mean, I obviously should know at North Mail, you're going to be running amphibious missions. So anyway, they're out here unloading these AKs. This was what? Supply. Okay, they're both supplies, so we got no fuel out here. When they come back to Cochin, we'll get some fuel and take it out there, and then we'll need to get those engineers out there somehow, just so you have another base that's got a little bit of something out here. If you did come under attack at Colombo, I guess it's conceivable that North Mail might be a staging area for something. So we're just going to build it up. I mean, when it comes to things like that, you can say logically, we probably have no need in this game to build up North Mail. But we have so many units and so many ships and whatnot that we might as well because they don't really have that much else to do. So we'll run them out here to North Mail. We'll build that up a little bit. And if we need it, we need it. Hey, who knows? This may be the game I need North Mail to really come through, and we can, the trumpeters can and the bards can sing of the men at North Mail. Um, Adieu. This is just a Corvette. It's out here, what, doing? Oh, it's still waiting on this dang task force. I don't know what task force that was supposed to meet. This kind of goes back to your question, Britt Torrent. Do you always, take as much time? No, I don't take as much time as I did in this game. Of course, I kind of wanted the setup to be a tutorial as well. So we went through everything. This happens quite often, I think, when you play uh, and are not doing a tutorial, let's say, or a let's play, which is I can't for the life of me remember why or what task force this was supposed to meet. It was supposed to escort Task Force 422, but that was escort 422 on Cole's spreadsheet. I don't know that that necessarily lines up with our 422 here in our task forces. All right, I could have gone over to the bar. It's taking a little. Yeah, we don't even have a Task Force 422. So we've kind of just got a Corvette here that's doing nothing. What kind of ASW does the Auricula have? Well, it's got a 4. Um, that's better than we have in a lot of places. So we're kind of wasting the ship right now. I'm going to take this off and I'm just going to say ASW. And let's first of all put it in at Colombo and then we'll figure out kind of where we need it. Um, I mean, this is something that could even go down to Darwin, or we could use it on the east coast of Australia. It's we have use for a ship like this that's not sitting at a do. That's not the best use of this ship. Um, Yeah, I know, Bayard. I know. Yeah, I was supposed to meet Task Force 422. They call that, historically the Ghost Task Force. I guess it sailed out into the Indian Ocean and was never heard from again. Or, or maybe it could have been Admiral error. But let's not blame ourselves if we don't have to. When I write up the report, back to headquarters, I'm going to say that it was a Ghost Task Force. Um, Yes, you can split. Butts are fly effect. I just like saying. I'm going to say your name every time you make a comment. Now, butts are fly. Uh, anyway, uh, how small can they go? Well, I mean, we can get down into brigades, regiments, but the game kind of has to set those up, right? Um, if we split up divisions, I think they go into battalions. So, the game itself or the game system will give you companies and regiments. I don't know. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think battalions, you can split them down into battalions, I believe. Sometimes I get this in War in the East mixed up. I'm trying to think because in War in the East you have divisions, and when you split those, they go into threes, which are regiments. In War in the East they become regiments. Here I think you can split down into battalions, I think. I don't know. Uh, yeah, you got me, butts are fly. You, you got me. Um, all right, let's look at what else do I want to look at? So we looked at a do. There's nothing else to do out at a do. We're supposed to be bringing some supply and fuel out here. I know we are because these two bases, coal on the spreadsheet, I know makes a point to build these two up. Again, it's not a bad idea. I'm not like making light of it and saying, well, why the hell would I do that? I understand the point and concept. It's about 500th down on our list of what is probably important. But it could become important, especially if you play a good human player. Um, Colombo. Why don't we spin through Colombo really fast? Then I'm going to call this one an episode, although it's split into two. Obviously, I'm doing that for revenue generation purposes. No, if you guys knew how little these videos, how many views it would take for these videos to be making any money, you wouldn't think me so nefarious. Yep, splitting these into two. Oh, we still don't have our garrison in Colombo, by the way. Now, why is that? That's just absurd, and that's my fault. I will take total blame for that. Now, okay, Salt strength 24, but he's got some things that are still damaged here at Colombo at the Punjab Battalion, 615th. Coastal Defense gives us 10. The AA gives us 0, of course. It's just doing AA. This came out of Kugala. Let's switch this to combat mode. Or did we want it to go to, I don't think we want this to go to Kugala. Let's just leave it here. Now, that gives us an assault strength of 1. Okay, so we're 2 points short. We've got a garrison of 38 here. We need 40. That was my bad. I haven't been over here to Colombo in a little bit. Yeah, these. Hmm. Actually, I think maybe this does want to go to Dambulla. Dambulla, right there. Yeah. Do we have a garrison requirement there? Nope. Okay, I'm not going to worry about it then. Let's get these guys to combat mode and get them set for Colombo. I know there's one unit we were supposed to ship back out of Colombo once it meets its garrison requirement. I'll just have to look back at the spreadsheet. I don't have the spreadsheet up, and I'm not looking at it this time, and that's why I'm kind of, on something like that. I'm just saying, well, we'll figure it out. It's not the biggest thing in the world. But what is the biggest thing in the world is we need to meet that garrison requirement. That's absurd. I don't think I've been this late into a game and not met our garrison requirement before, especially at an important place. I mean, Colombo is actually important. There's a lot of Japanese activity that will end up out here. What do we have over here at Trincomalee? We just have the coastal defense. There's no garrison requirement here. Jaffna. There's none here, but we actually want to keep. I would like to keep a unit here. This is perfect. This is the kind of unit I want to keep here. You wouldn't want the Japanese to just, be able to land on Ceylon to an essentially empty base with a bunch of engineers. I guess that's kind of common sense. Um, Stanley, come on. It was a shaky restart. My God, I thought I was on top of my game today, except for, the split in episodes and whatnot. Um, yeah. Well, okay. I'll take the constructive criticism, Stanley. Damn it. Um, uh, Indian infantry. We've got them at no replacements. I get that these are just damaged, but I also I'm gonna turn replacements on here, and we may start opening up a few of these things, because I do want to build up Colombo. Okay, so that's Colombo. What about Madras? What's that? The training? Okay, we'll keep that going. They're only at 45. What kind of units do we have here? We've got, and we do have a garrison requirement here at Madras. Keep that in mind. I think these are all supposed to be here. We've got combat. Okay, that's rest training. Oh, these are those guys that have morale. So we have them on rest training right now. Madras. Okay, these guys are all supposed to be here. The ones on rest training, but as I said, it's because their morale was so low. Um, when we come back next time, which maybe it's not me, Stanley, that you're mad at, although I guess ultimately that's my responsibility as well. Um, I think I'm going to leave it here though. When we come back tomorrow, we're going to look at Calcutta, which I probably haven't paid enough attention to. We really need to. Now that the Japanese are starting to bomb Rangoon, we need to go into Rangoon, I mean, we've got a lot of units here now. I think some of these are ticketed for Pagoo, maybe. But we'll go look at that. We'll look at this whole kind of Burmese area, along with Calcutta. We took a look at Ceylon, so we're good there. We'll probably get down into Sumatra and Malaya, but that may come, maybe tomorrow, maybe on Wednesday. We'll get down into those, and then we'll get down again into Java. We'll do all of that this week, and then eventually build up. We'll kind of go over everything before we resolve a turn on Sunday. So we've got, another 5 episodes here that we can go around, look at things, make sure everything's set up well. Then we'll resolve on Sunday, and then we'll get back maybe on the regular schedule, or maybe I'll just keep doing it every day. I've been enjoying doing that in War in the East, so maybe I'll start doing it with this too to speed things along, and we'll resolve 2 turns a week, maybe even 3. Don't get your hopes up. Don't hold me to it, but maybe. Um, so thank you guys so much. Always appreciate it. I did miss these streams. I absolutely did. Well, the streams that work, those are the ones I miss. I don't miss the ones that crap out in the middle. But I will be back later on doing a War in the East if you guys are following that one or if you're interested in it. And then I'll be back tomorrow with War in the Pacific. Thank you guys so much. Always appreciate the support. And I will talk to you later. Have a good one.